The Dimuken DC-8614-H Hologram Encoder is a multi-process machine specifically designed for the application of registered image holographic foils and conventional hot stamping foils onto security documents, business forms, labels and other types of continuous web stationery. This shot of the machine shows the simultaneous application of two webs of registered image foil. With a change of optional heads, it is also possible to run MICR or OCR encoding, standard numbering, blind embossing or patch printing from a numbering ribbon. The machine is very compact in size, measuring just over 1 meter wide by 3/4 of a meter deep by 1 1/4 meters high, and the only services required remains power supply. Guarded to comply with the new stringent EEC safety and health regulations, the machine is also very operator friendly with easy to follow diagnostics on its control panel. This video is designed to tell you more about the machine's operation and the different processes that can be run with the optional heads fitted. We are now looking at the delivery side of the machine, showing the two separate shafts for rewinding the waste holographic foil. As we pan in closer, we see the two individual machine heads, each with a fiber optic sensor holder mounted on the right side of the head, immediately next to the special stamping die holder. The waste foil is being driven forward and rewound after each machine impression. Here we see the in-feed side of the machine showing rolls of Dimuken registered image foil on the two separate unwind shafts. You may be able to see the registration mark on the foil to the left side of each image. On the in-feed, the foil passes through a foil out detector which stops the machine if the roll runs out unnoticed by the operator or for any reason there is a break in the foil. Panning in closer on the in-feed side, we can clearly see the fibre optics shining onto the left side of the foil, picking up the registration mark set against each image to give accurate registration of the foil to the stamping die before the machine comes onto impression. Here the main head shaft is swung up, showing a standard round die mounted on the left head and a specially engraved corporate logo die on the right head. This example shows the possibility of running a company's own design of corporate hologram simultaneously with their foiled name and address onto letter headings, share certificates and other corporate stationery, or for that matter any other simultaneous running of holographic and standard hot foils. It is also possible to do vertical foiling by turning the heater block and die holder through 90 degrees. This is an old die we borrowed which had been used for foiling a wolf's head onto the admission tickets for a football club. The die is 3 inches long and we are pulling just 77 millimeters of foil after each impression to clear the die. The savings that can be achieved in wasted foil with such foil feed accuracy are very considerable. With the optional encoding heads fitted, it is possible to run standard numbering or MICR OCR encoding on the machine. Here the operator is holding the encoding head. Now he is sliding in an MICR E13B box. If required, it is possible to fit encoding heads to both of the machine heads to do 2 across numbering. In order to show you how simple it is to change from foiling to numbering, we are going to run in actual time through the complete process. Firstly, the operator is removing the foiling die to gain access to the heater block. He is now disconnecting the electrical supply to the heater block. And removing the 2 Allen bolts which secure the heater block through into the machine head. The yellow block you can see behind the heater block is in actual fact a heat guard to reduce degradation of heat upwards into the machine head. The heat guard is secured by 4 Allen bolts, which are now being removed. We have already webbed up the machine with a red numbering ribbon instead of the foil we were previously running. The operator is now bolting the encoding head directly onto the machine head. The encoding head is engineered with dovetails to clamp on the boxes. We slides the dovetail base on the box between the clamps and tightens them up. You can see on the left hand side the actual box actuator, and then the shaft runs away to the right through a brass support with a dog on the end which goes into a channel on the machine bed. The ability to run a registered image hologram and a number simultaneously is very advantageous for securing share certificates, tickets, vouchers, exam papers, insurance policies. In fact, the list is almost endless. Here we can see the actuating shaft running from the numbering box into the dog which sits in the channel on the machine bed. Each impression of the machine numbers the document, and as the bed falls away from the box, the dog in the channel is actuated, turning the box over, ready to impress the next number. We can now see an E13B MICR box fitted to number with MICR ribbon a UK Czech code line. It is of course possible to have different code lines such as CMC7 manufacture to run on the machine. As mentioned before, by fitting both machine heads with an encoding head, you can run MICR encoding checks printed 2 across the web or standard numbering 2 up. This is a sample form we have recently run at exhibitions such as IPEX 93 and JEC 94 in Milan. The paper feed depth is 8 1/2 inches. Using a patch plate and numbering ribbon, it is possible to overprint small areas of text, logos, numbers, symbols, etc. The patch plate is simply adhered to the holding plate by double-sided tape. The holder is fitted into the dovetail clamps on the heater block and tightened up. We are patch printing using the same standard red numbering ribbon as demonstrated before. Here again we are showing that it is possible to simultaneously foil and patch print. With low-cost male and female nano embossing plates, it is possible to achieve very high-quality blind embossing. The male die is affixed to the machine bed with double-sided tape. The female die is locked on exactly in register with tape on its reverse side. The holding plate simply picks up the female die on impression. Again, several users of the machine are simultaneously applying their client's corporate image hologram and blind emboss corporate seal onto share certificates and other documents. The machine multi-display set in the control panel gives at a glance all the information necessary for the operator to quickly set up, change and run jobs. Going quickly through the main items on the display, FD shows a paper feed depth setting of 4 inch, R1 shows a ribbon pull of 25.4mm, R2 shows the same setting, BC shows the batch count, IS indicates the initial speed the machine will assume when the start button is pressed. 50 on a 4-inch pull equates to just over 8,000 machine impressions an hour. If we wish to change the feed depth, we go into the depth program and see that we have one step of 4 inches. We re-enter one step which takes us to the first machine setting. To change the job to 12 inches, we simply push 1200 on the panel and enter. The machine will now pull 12 inches of paper after each impression. If we wish to put 3 holograms into a 12-inch document in different positions of say 2, 4 and 6 inches from a given datum point, we simply go back to step and enter 3. We go to step 1 and enter 2, step 2 and enter 4, step 3 and enter 6 inches. We have have now set a repeating step pattern to apply a hologram at 2, 4 and 6 inches on the document we are feeding. When we return to the main display panel, we can see that the first step is set at 2 inches. All the other data has remained unchanged. When we start the machine, if you watch the feed depth setting, you will see it change from 2-inch step 1 to 4-inch step 2 to 6-inch step 3. If the machine stops in the middle of a stepping program, then the operator can see on which impression of the machine he will be when he recommences. We hope that we have shown you just how versatile a machine the Dimuken Hologram Encoder is, and why we call it a multi-process machine. We have a hologram encoder permanently on display in our showroom in Peterborough, and would welcome the opportunity to demonstrate it to you. We would mention that the factory-fitted interlock safety guards were removed from the machine for the purpose of making this video. Thank you for taking the time to view this video of the Dimuken DC-8614 Hologram Encoder.